I bet you can't guess where I'm going to come in the frame from. You don't know where I'm at. You know the best part of having a wireless mic, is being able to just speak anywhere. Like, I can yap anywhere I please, and you'll never know where I'm at. For all you know, I could be in my bed laying down recording this. But am I? All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Did you guess this spot? I don't know if you guessed this spot. If you did guess this spot, you get a high five. What's good? Welcome to the main channel. Thank you. Thank you. You're too kind. Please. Prayer hands. Thank you. You guys are too kind. Please sit down. No. Yeah, welcome. This channel has been sitting here. I've been over on my gaming channel. You should go check that out. I've been using this channel for edits and music and anything else I drum up in my free time. And I finally think I'm ready to start using this channel. This is going to be more of a media-centric channel. We're going to be talking about movies and TV and music and a whole bunch more. And, you'll even be able to find my own music on this channel. So that's pretty cool. I've been brainstorming, the content of this channel, and I'm just ready to get started. This video actually marks episode 1 of a series that I have been thinking about for over a year. Procrastination is poison. You saw the title. This series is, where we have a real conversation and about how I'm feeling about certain movies, TV, music, and more. I have a lot of opinions, and I feel that this is just the best way for me to express those opinions and share them. So, without further ado, I need y'all to lock in because we gotta talk about Disney. There was a point in time where when you saw this intro unfold on your TV, you already knew whatever followed was going to be peak. And it didn't matter what movie it was because there was a certain level of love and care that went into each film that came out of the studio. For 102 years, the Walt Disney Company has made their mark in the entertainment industry. Originally breaking onto the scene with their outstanding hand-drawn animations that still hold up to this day. Disney came to the table with something special. In 1928, Steamboat Willie debuted at the Colony Theater in New York City. Now, this wasn't Disney's first animated movie, but it was the first successful one. An 8-minute animation introducing one of the most beloved characters in all of entertainment history, Mickey Mouse. 8 minutes was all it took for the Walt Disney Company to begin climbing the ladder of success. Afterward, why would you stop the momentum? They continued to make shorts and cartoons, and they did well. And then 1937 rolled around, and they released their first full-length feature animated film. You know what movie that was? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Steamboat Willie got Disney in the room, but Snow White got them a seat at the table. With a $1.5 million budget, the movie went on to make over $8 million. Now, if a movie was to make that today, it's not that good. We're talking about 1937. That was a lot of money on. Snow White was the highest grossing film of 1938, and it even briefly held the record for highest grossing sound film. They even got an honorary Academy Award for the movie. Following the film's success, over the next 102 years, Disney made themselves a household name through their movies, which brings us to today. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, Crumpy, we know all this. Disney is a powerhouse. What's new? What is it that you want to talk about? Well, I'm glad you asked. You know how people say nothing lasts forever? Well, they weren't lying. What do you think happens after you've made over 100 movies, thousands of TV episodes, released hundreds of soundtracks, and created and adapted hundreds of characters? You run out of ideas. That, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is exactly what I am bringing to the stand today. I've thought about it for the past couple of years, but I think it's finally time I admit it. Disney is out of ideas. Just a few days ago, we got a trailer for a live-action Moana remake that is set to come out in 2026. I don't know why what am I doing? There's nothing back there. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Disney's new MO is taking classic, timeless, and iconic movies and just making them real, I guess. Now let me be clear, Disney live action movies are not anything that's new. They've been going on, in fact, since 1994 with The Jungle Book, which I only found out while preparing for this video. So if you're like, well, I didn't know that, you and me both. Followed shortly thereafter in 1996 with a live action 101 Dalmatians.
Tell me, darling, you married him for his dog.
I think Glenn Close was in that movie. That's just off the dome. If I'm right, that's fire. You know what's funny about that though? After that, Disney stopped making live action remakes until 2010 when they came back with a live action Alice in Wonderland.
Hello?
That 14-year gap is what I would say was Disney's prime. And keep in mind, we're only talking about live action remakes. I'm well aware that Disney made live action movies in that 14-year gap. Those movies were original, you know, and they didn't have anything that came before them. You want an example? 2007's Underdog, starring Jason Lee, Patrick Warburton, and Peter Dinklage. You heard me. Peter Dinklage was in this movie. Let's take a moment to admire a hidden gem that came from this film, provided by another familiar face. And I apologize for the quality in advance. It's all that I could find.
When criminals in this world appear and break the laws that they should fear, playing all who see a hit, a guy goes up a bar and nibble. Underdog. That's the superhero fuck. Christian band, give it up. There's no need to be so mean when this dog is on the scene. To the rescue, here he comes. This canine is number one.
Now, if you were able to see through the pixels, you probably said to yourself, is that Corey? Yep, yes it was. That was Kyle Massey from the hit TV show That's So Raven and his spin-off show, Corey in the House. And I'ma just say it, that song is fire. Go argue with a wall. But let's get back on track. My point is simply, Disney stepped away from the live action remakes. Why? Well, one thing we can look at is technology. Animation was reaching new heights. I also believe that the success of Toy Story that came out 1 year before the 101 Dalmatians live action remake showed Disney that people loved animation. I also want to say here that not every Disney live action remake is bad. You know, over time they've put out heat. I can't even lie, I gotta give that to them. 2016 gave us what I think is their best. Another live action remake of The Jungle Book. If you haven't seen it, I can confidently say I would recommend it. And you know, one of the things that I didn't realize until later was that this cast was absolutely stacked. Jon Favreau, Idris Elba, Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson, Christopher Walken, Ben Kingsley, Lupita Nyong'o, Giancarlo Esposito, and even Sam Raimi were in this movie. Most importantly, I just think it's a good film. The downfall, however, if you ask me, came in 2019. when Disney thought to themselves, what would people love? The Lion King in live action. I cannot express enough. Oh my gosh. I cannot express enough how much I wish I was in the room when this meeting took place. I'll speak for myself, but I know there's a lot of people, that I know personally, and even people that I've seen online talking about this that agree with me with what I'm about to say. We didn't want or need it, but it didn't matter. The movie was approved and production started. I think back to when this movie was happening, and I remember when it was announced, and I can vaguely remember that reactions were mixed. Some were excited, some were confused as to why it was happening, and then there was that portion of people who just truly did not care. In the time that followed, it seemed like Disney knew and was aware of the feedback, both positive and negative. But little did we know, they had a trap card in their back pocket.
Prompty, what trap card are you talking about? What you mean trap card?
Again, I'm glad you asked. You've been asking some really good questions so far. I'm impressed. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Exhibit A. The cast list. The cast list? What cast list is he talking about? And it reads as follows. Childish Gambino as Simba. Seth Rogen as Pumbaa. Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar. James Earl Jones returning as Mufasa. John Candy as Rafiki. Alfred Woodard as Sarabi. Eric Andre as Azizi. Billy Eichner as Timon. John Oliver as Zazu. Keegan Michael Key as Kamari. I'm sorry, who? Yeah, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Give me a second. One half of Key and Peele. Oh. Hey, Aaron. I love Key and Peele. What? I'm sorry. I love Key and Peele. What? Chance the Rapper as Bush Baby? Do we know who Bush Baby? Oh, okay, all right. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep it moving. Bush Baby. And last but certainly not least, Beyonce as Nala. Your Honor, I rest. Yep, that was the trap. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, I fell for it. I saw this movie in theaters and to this day, have not watched it again. Now, it's not that the movie was trash. I mean, the only highlight for me was the visuals. Visually, the movie was stunning. It was nice, it was cool. It even got praise for it. But that was it. If you've seen the original Lion King, then you saw this movie. Nothing special. The movie as a whole was all right, in my opinion, but it didn't matter. The movie went on to make $1.6 billion. What? Billion. With a B.
You like jazz?
And somehow, through all the feedback, negative and positive, Disney had yet another success on their hands. Since the film's release, there's been a lot of debate online, whether or not the movie's success mainly stemmed from Beyonce's involvement. You ask me, I can see both sides of that argument. I'm not even gonna lie to you. One thing you can't argue is that money talks. Now, I wish that right now I could say to you, we're done covering 2019, but no. Disney gave us a 2-for-1 special that year. In fact, Did you know that the live action Aladdin remake came out that same year? 2 months before? Now, before we get into that one, I need all of you to understand. Aladdin is my all-time favorite Disney movie. Okay, I no contest. No contest. The 1992 film will forever be a classic to me. All right? It means something to me. So everything I'm about to say is 100% personal. Now, Aladdin didn't have a stacked cast like The Lion King did. Aside from Will Smith, Naomi Scott, and Alan Tudyk, the people that you saw on screen weren't, to me anyway, they were just newcomers to the big screen. And I could be wrong. Maybe they were in a whole bunch of stuff beforehand, but that was my first time seeing a lot of those people. In fact, a lot of controversy around this movie stemmed from the fact of Will Smith being cast as the genie.
Hey, can you make me a prince?
There is a lot of gray area in Make Me a Prince. I could just make you a prince.
Oh, no.
Right, you'd be snuggled up with that dude for the rest of your life.
Y'all see my palace?
Of course, you had your racists who were foaming at the mouth, you know, for something to bark at. But beyond that, the root of the problem, I think, was a lot of people felt that there could never be another genie. Will Smith knew this. Quite frankly, it seemed like he agreed. He made a post on Instagram shortly before the movie came out, and the caption read, "I know genies don't have feet, but you left some big shoes to fill. Rest in peace, Robin." For those that don't know, the legendary Robin Williams, may he rest in peace, voiced Genie in the original 1992 film.
Rick 'em, rack 'em, rock 'em, Rick. Stick that sword into that snake. You stay out of this.
Jafar, he's our man if he can't do it.
Great!
If you ask me, he is quite literally one of the reasons why the movie became what it was and is. At the time that this movie was coming out, we were coming up on 5 years of his passing. It seemed like Disney knew that they had put Will in like an impossible scenario. And it's pretty evident in the film that because of that, they seem to give him a lot of creative freedom.
We waiting for you. We're not going till you go. You can do it. There it is. Prince Ali,
I mean, he was quite literally the selling point for this movie. If you ask me though, them casting Will as Genie was better on paper than it was on the screen. I can't fully fault him. I wasn't able to see the Genie. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it was just a blue Will Smith.
You really don't know who I am. Genie, wishes, lamb, none of that ringing a bell. Wow. Well, that's a first.
I also believe that even though he had a fair amount of creative liberty, that he was also doing the best with what he had, with what they gave him. My main issue with this film, however, is the issue I have with all the Disney live action remakes recently. For some reason, the writers decided to get together, they got in a huddle, and they said, you know what? How about this? You guys are gonna love this idea. Are you ready? How about we go with the original plot, but wait for it, change most of it. You know, things like how Jasmine was alone and wanted to escape from the confines of the palace. And yeah, that was cool in '92, but how about this? Let's give her a friend. And wait. Wait for it. This is what's really gonna knock your socks off. Let's have that same friend end up with the Genie. They have kids together. And then the whole story, the whole movie is Genie telling the kids his point of view of the whole story. I simply cannot stress enough how mad this made me. Disney, for some reason, has yet to learn what the word remake means. Since 2019, they have taken these classic movies and decided to completely change them. That's not a remake. That's an adaptation. And what is it? Like, what is it? It's just nothing. Yo, I'm about to rant. I'm about to lose it. Let me just stop there, because I mentioned that, you know, I was making light of it. But let's really talk about it. One of the reasons that Jasmine and Aladdin were so drawn to each other, I'm so passionate about this, was because they were dealing with the same problem in their own ways. Okay, they both felt trapped. Jasmine felt trapped in the palace because that's all she knew. She had never been outside the palace wall. She said it herself. She didn't have any friends. Well, hold on. She had one friend, a tiger named Raja. Meanwhile, Aladdin felt trapped because being a street rat was all he had ever known. But he longed for more. Jasmine longed for the world. Aladdin had enough of the world. He was done. Aladdin was also in the same boat. He didn't have friends. His friend was a monkey, Abu. He was scrapping for food and running from the law daily just to feed himself and his monkey. They wanted what each other had without knowing what it really meant. That's what makes their conversation so important when they first met. You know, no shade to the actress who played Jasmine's friend in the live action, but every time she came on screen, I quite literally wanted to just get up from my seat in the theater and just scream, "You don't belong here!" But I have movie theater etiquette, so I kept my feelings to myself. But it really pissed me off. Aside from that, Jafar wasn't even menacing. He was just annoying.
You think so? But I am Sultan! I am the greatest sorcerer the world has ever seen. I will create an empire that history cannot ignore. I can destroy cities.
Shut up! Out on your shins.
Shut up!
And the side of your head.
Shut up!
You know, again, no shade to the actor. He did what he had to do. He was paid to do a job. He did it. Cool. Kudos to you for doing your job. But it's like, just go somewhere. Just go somewhere, dummy. Like, just leave. Who are you? I vividly remember reading, you know, others' takes on the movie after I had seen it, and you know, I think that was one of the things that really drew me to this subject. Predictably, the reviews were mixed. Some loved it, some hated it, and again, some just simply did not care. Me though, I cared. I still care, and I made it halfway through the movie before completely zoning out and just waiting for the credits to roll. There was a lot riding on this film, and the feedback reflected on that before, during, and after the movie's release. But guess what? It didn't matter. This movie went on to make just over $1 billion. Money talks. They don't care if you hated what you saw on the screen. They didn't care then, and they don't care now. They walked away with over $2 billion that year. They were doing a money spread, Disney. Disney was doing a money spread, just so you know, while fans were screaming to get them to stop. And that is why we are here today, ladies and gentlemen. From 2019 to now, there have been 11 live action remakes. We got Mulan in 2020, Cruella in 2021, Pinocchio in 2022, Peter Pan and Wendy in 2023, The Little Mermaid in 2023, Mufasa in 2024, Snow White, we don't talk about Snow White, in 2025, and most recently, Lilo and Stitch. With 7 more set to release over the next few years. And do you know why they keep making them? Because for 102 years, they've known that when they put something out, people are gonna go see it. They just released the trailer for the Moana live action that's supposed to be coming out next year, and I couldn't be angrier. I'm not that angry. I'm pretty angry. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't want to come across as like angry black dude, but I am angry. The Rock announced it. You know, here's what's really funny. The Rock announced it while they were on the press tour for Moana 2. Why did I hold my fingers up like that? 2. It's like they knew the sequel was gonna suck. They knew it was buns, and so they said, you know what? People like the first one. Let's just make it live action. No. How many times we have to say it? No. Are we speaking French? We? It's clear that they've run out of ideas. I mean, it's obvious at this point. All they produce nowadays is sequels and live action remakes. And just to throw some razzle dazzle in there, sequels to the live action remakes. I'm sorry, I had to take a break. I was getting hyped. Each film has had its own controversy. For example, when The Little Mermaid got announced, the racists popped out from all walks of life because their favorite mermaid was black. Like mermaids are real. Snow White never stood a chance because Rachel Zegler couldn't be quiet for 5 minutes.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
And on top of that, they had completely abandoned the story. And they told everyone about it before it even went into production. The racists popped out for that one too, but surprisingly, that was the least of the film's worries. Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch. They not only got rid of some of the main characters that like made the story what it was, they changed the story. And apparently, from what I've heard, because I refuse to watch it, they forgot what Ohana means. Ohana means family, not I'm just gonna leave you to live with our neighbor. But guess what? You know what's even funny about that? Lilo and Stitch made another $1 billion. So, you know, Disney had to swoop in and do what they do best. Capitalize. Because guess what? Now there's a sequel that's coming out. Can you tell that I'm excited? Help! No matter if there's controversy or if the movie underperforms or bombs, they don't care. Like, I don't know how many times I gotta say it. And we'll continue to make these because the fans are not even remotely close to their tax bracket. They've been making money off of us for over 100 years, so they're not gonna stop now. You know, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go see these movies. If that's something that you're into, you wanna go see it, go check it out. Hey, all power to you. Me, I won't be there. I can promise you that. My point is that there was a time, like I said, where you can feel the love, the time, the effort that was poured into these films. You could see it on the screen through each frame that was carefully hand-drawn. And that time is long gone. The only thing that moves Disney now is money. You know, the last hand-drawn animated movie was 2011's Winnie the Pooh. And now, you know, some people say it really ended, that whole era really ended with Princess and the Frog. And I tend to agree with that to a degree, but it was Winnie the Pooh. And don't get me wrong, the animation that they do nowadays is cool. It's phenomenal. It looks, in some shots, stuff looks real. It's just not the same. You would think, being a company that's worth almost $200 billion, that you would be able to find someone with an original idea. I could come up with an original idea. It's rough, but nothing lasts forever. You know, I can't remember how long ago it was, but Disney's chief creative officer himself teased the idea that hand-drawn animation was coming back. And quite frankly, I'm in a position where I'll believe it when I see it. But for now, those of us who are tired and exhausted of the remakes and the sequels to the remakes, we can hold on to the films that made us fans of Disney in the first place. And hey, maybe they will return. Maybe they will get back to form soon. You know, at some point, you know, now all we have to look forward to is The Rock in a wig singing "You're Welcome." You know, because that's pretty cool. Oh, I almost forgot. Gotta stop doing that. Did you know that Jesus loves you? In Psalm 17, verse 7, it says, "Show thy marvelous loving kindness, O thou that savest by thy right hand them which put their trust in thee from those that rise up against them." Think about it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you next time. I'm out.